Listen, everybody wants to win, but nobody wants to repeat the same boring steps that lead to victory. Everybody wants success, but few have the guts to stay consistent long enough to deserve it. You want change, you want growth, you want freedom, then you got to learn this one truth. Consistency isn't about motivation, it's about making yourself do it, especially when you don't feel like it. Because the truth is, most people don't fail because they're not talented. They fail because they don't stay consistent long enough for their talent to pay off. I've seen people give up inches away from breakthrough. I've seen dreams buried alive under the weight of inconsistency. And I'll be honest with you, I used to be one of them. I used to start strong, burn bright, then fade the moment life threw a curveball. But here's what I learned. The universe doesn't reward your intensity, it rewards your consistency. You can go all in for a week and impress everyone, or go all in for a year and transform your entire life. So today, I want to talk to you like a friend, like a coach, like someone who's been there, about what it really takes to force yourself to be consistent, and how when you do everything, and I mean everything, starts to fall perfectly into place. Let's be real for a second. Staying consistent is not sexy. It's not glamorous. It's waking up when you're tired. It's showing up when no one's watching. It's saying no when your emotions scream. Yes, it's boring. It's uncomfortable. It's relentless. But here's the secret. That boring repetition is what builds unshakable confidence. See, when you repeat something long enough, it rewires your brain. It turns fear into familiarity, doubt into discipline, procrastination into precision. And that's the point where life starts bending in your favor, but before you get there, you're going to fight battles inside your own mind because your brain will whisper, just skip today. You've done enough. You'll start again on Monday. Sound familiar? Yeah, we've all been there. That voice isn't your enemy. It's your comfort zone begging for survival. Your job isn't to argue with it. Your job is to act anyway. Let me say that again. You don't negotiate with your emotions. You instruct them. You don't wait to feel ready. You move, and feeling ready follows. That's how consistency is born. Now let me ask you something a little funny. Do you brush your teeth only when you feel motivated? Of course not. You just do it. It's part of who you are. That's the level of consistency your dreams demand. Brushing your teeth level. Non-negotiable. Automatic, no hype needed. Because motivation is temporary, but identity is permanent. When you become the kind of person who shows up, even on bad days, you don't need motivation anymore. Let me share something powerful I once realized. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. You can sprint like a maniac for 30 days, but if you collapse on day 31, what's the point? It's not the massive effort once in a while. It's the small effort every single day. You don't need to climb a mountain in a day. You just need to keep stepping up one rock at a time. That's how the greats built empires. That's how athletes become legends. That's how you will change your life. Because when you stay consistent long enough, the world starts trusting your pattern. Opportunities appear. People notice energy compounds. Consistency is the silent currency of success. You might not see the return today, but every deposit you make counts. Think of it like this. Every workout you complete, every page you read, every early morning you conquer, every choice to stay focused instead of distracted, you're making invisible deposits into your future bank account. And one day, when everyone else wonders how you got lucky, you'll know it wasn't luck. It was consistency cashing in. You ever notice how people say, I'll start when I have more time? Guess what? Nobody finds time. You make it, and if you don't make it, life will make excuses for you, funny, right? We schedule dentist appointments months in advance, but we don't schedule time to chase our dreams. That's the crazy part. Consistency starts the moment you stop saying, someday, because someday isn't on the calendar. Here's where the magic happens. If you stay consistent long enough, something shifts. At first, it's all effort. You're pushing, forcing, grinding. You're doubting if it's even worth it. But one morning, you wake up and realize you've become different. You don't need to talk yourself into doing it anymore. It's automatic, natural, part of you. That's when you know you've broken the barrier. You've gone from forcing consistency to being consistency. That's when life starts working with you instead of against you. You'll notice you attract better people. You'll think clearer. You'll trust yourself more. And the best part, you'll start to love the process, not just the result. Because you'll finally see that consistency isn't the prison. It's the path to freedom. Let's be honest. Even the strongest people slip. Even the most disciplined minds lose focus. There are days you'll wake up and feel like the fire's gone. Days when the world feels heavier than your purpose. Days when you don't want to move at all. That's when most people quit, but not you. Because consistency isn't about never falling. It's about refusing to stay down. You see, what separates the ordinary from the unstoppable is not perfection, it's persistence. When life knocks you flat, don't stay there analyzing the dirt. Get up, adjust your focus, and take the next step. Because the moment you choose to get back up, you're rebuilding momentum, and momentum is everything. You don't need to start over every time you slip. You just need to start again. You fell off your diet, okay? Eat clean on your next meal, missed a workout? Cool. Get back in the gym tomorrow. Skipped a goal for a week. Fine, restart now. Consistency is a pattern built from returning, not never falling. It's not about being flawless. It's about being faithful. Let me tell you something powerful. When you fall, your comeback builds more strength than your perfect streak ever could. Now, I gotta ask, why is it that when our phone battery hits 1%, we panic to recharge? But when our purpose battery hits 1%, we just scroll social media funny, right? We treat our devices better than our dreams. Maybe it's time to flip that script. Recharge you first, then go conquer the world. Consistency isn't built in your body. It's built in your mind. Every day, you wake up in a war zone, the battlefield, your thoughts, the enemy, your excuses. Your mind will try to talk you out of progress. It'll tell you you're too tired. It's too late. You've done enough. But here's the truth. You can't trust your feelings when it comes to greatness. Feelings are temporary. Purpose is permanent. So how do you win the mental war? You create systems that protect your progress. You don't wait to feel like doing it. You schedule it. You plan it. You automate it. You build routines so strong that even on your worst day, you still move an inch forward. Because an inch forward on a bad day beats a mile backward on a lazy one. And here's the secret weapon. When you control your morning, you control your life. How you start your day sets the tone for everything else. Wake up and scroll, you're reacting. Wake up and move with intention. You're leading and leaders. Don't wait for permission to act. They build consistency into their identity. So if you want to be consistent, don't rely on motivation. Build systems that make success inevitable. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I met a man who had been trying to get in shape for over a decade. Every January, he'd go hard. New diet, new gym, new motivation. By February, he was done. When I asked him why, he said, "I just can't stay consistent, Dennis. I lose focus." So I told him something simple. I said, "Stop trying to be perfect, just try to show up." And he didn't go to the gym every day for 2 hours. He went for 15 minutes. Every single day. At first, it felt pointless. But after 60 days, he started staying longer. After 6 months, he didn't recognize himself. Not just physically, mentally, spiritually. Because every time he showed up, he told his brain, "We're not quitting this time." And one day, he looked at me and said, "I finally get it. It's not about intensity. It's about identity." That hit me hard because that's the truth. When you make consistency part of who you are, you stop starting over. Let me ask you this. If you only got paid when you kept your promises to yourself, how rich would you be right now? Ouch, yeah, that one stings a little. But hey, truth hurts before it heals. Because when you learn to keep your word to yourself, the world starts keeping its word to you. Now let's talk about something deeper, emotional consistency. Because consistency isn't just about doing, it's about feeling steady through the storm. Life's going to test your patience, your faith, your peace. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. The unexpected will happen. But if you can stay emotionally grounded, you become unstoppable. The key is learning to respond, not react. You can't control every event. The reason most people lose consistency isn't lack of effort. It's emotional burnout. They push too hard without balance. They chase perfection instead of progress. They confuse speed with direction. But real consistency isn't a sprint, it's a rhythm. You don't have to move fast, you just have to keep moving forward. One step, one choice, one promise at a time. But wait, what happens when everything you've worked for starts falling apart? When life hits you harder than ever, and you feel like consistency just isn't enough? That's where we go next. Because there's one mindset shift, one mental click, that changes everything. And once you understand it, you'll never see obstacles the same way again. You ever notice how the hardest days always teach you the most? It's funny, we hate the pain, but it's usually the pain that shapes the version of us that wins later. Because pain is a teacher. And if you're consistent long enough, you'll start hearing the lesson behind every setback. When you stay consistent through pain, you're sending a message to life that says, you can hit me, but I'm not leaving. That's when life starts respecting you. See, every champion you've ever admired, they didn't get stronger because life was easy. They got stronger because they stayed consistent when it wasn't. When you choose discipline over drama, you take your power back. Because consistency and pain are best friends. They both shape you, grind you, refine you. Most people run from pain, but those who endure it grow through it and stay consistent in the middle of it. They come out unrecognizable. Think about it. Every single storm you've ever survived was preparing you for the one you're about to conquer. And the next time life gets rough, I want you to remember this. It's not breaking you. It's building your consistency muscle. Let me drop something funny. If you prayed for strength, and now life's giving you problems, that's not punishment, that's delivery. Because strength doesn't show up as a gift. It shows up as a workout. So congratulations, you're in training. Let's face it, there'll be seasons when nothing seems to go your way. Your plans fall apart. People you counted on disappear. Opportunities vanish. You'll start to wonder if staying consistent even matters. But that's the trap. The storm is always loudest right before the calm. See, life tests you before it blesses you. It's almost like the universe saying, show me you can stay consistent when it's not convenient. If you can keep moving in the dark, you'll own the light when it returns. When everything falls apart, keep showing up. When you don't see progress, keep showing up. When nobody believes in you, keep showing up. Because the moment you stop showing up, you stop your story from unfolding. You're not waiting for things to fall into place. Your consistency is what makes them fall into place. It's like connecting dots in real time. You won't see the full picture while you're drawing it, but one day, you'll look back and realize every little line, every small effort, every tough day, it was all part of the masterpiece. Let me share another story. A true one. Years ago, a young writer told me he'd been rejected over 30 times. Publishers said his work was too raw, too unconventional. He wanted to quit. He said, Dennis, I'm tired. I'm tired of hearing no. I told him, don't chase validation, chase consistency. So he kept writing. Every single day, for 2 years, fast forward. That same writer ended up publishing one of the most powerful motivational books of his generation. And when I asked him what changed, he smiled and said, nothing changed except I stopped quitting. See, most people stop because they can't see the result yet. But consistency means trusting the process even when there's no applause. That's the moment your character gets built. That's when your legacy starts writing itself. Let me ask you something a little harsh. If your consistency had a heartbeat, would it still be alive today? Would it be strong and steady? Or flatline because you keep restarting every Monday? Don't worry, you can revive it today. You just have to make one choice, show up again. Here's the moment that changes everything. There comes a point where your hard work, your habits, your sacrifices, they all align. The people who once doubted you, the opportunities that once ignored you, they start finding you. Not because the world suddenly became easier, but because you became consistent enough to meet it halfway. That's the point where everything falls into place. You'll wake up one morning, and it'll all just click. The workouts that once drained you feel natural. The habits that once felt forced feel automatic. The discipline that once felt exhausting feels empowering. You'll realize that consistency was never a punishment. It was the bridge between who you were and who you were meant to become. And the beautiful part, once you reach that state, you'll look back and thank every struggle, every lonely night, every why am I even doing this moment, because without them, you'd never have built the foundation you're standing on now. Everything starts aligning. Your health improves. Your confidence grows. Your peace deepens. Your purpose sharpens. And you finally see the truth. You were never waiting for things to fall into place. They were waiting for you to become consistent enough to deserve them. But wait, there's one last piece. One final truth that separates people who stay consistent forever from those who fall back into old patterns. It's not discipline. It's not motivation. It's something deeper. And if you don't master this last part, you'll lose everything you've built. Let's talk about it. So, what's that final piece? It's not about pushing harder. It's not even about grinding longer. It's about identity. You will never stay consistent with something that doesn't align with how you see yourself. That's why people go to the gym for 30 days and quit there trying to act like a fit person. But deep down, they still see themselves as someone who struggles. You can't outperform your identity. Consistency doesn't stick until it becomes who you are. That's the missing link. That's the quiet truth. Nobody tells you. You can read all the books, watch all the videos, repeat all the affirmations, but if your self-image still whispers, I'm lazy, I'm inconsistent, you rewire your identity through evidence. Every time you show up, even when it's small, you cast a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. You start saying, I'm the type of person who finishes what I start. I'm the type of person who stays the course. I'm the type of person who keeps promises to myself. And soon those tiny votes add up. You no longer have to force consistency. You embody it. That's when everything finally clicks. Because your actions no longer fight your identity. They flow from it. That's the ultimate power. You've built a new version of yourself. One that doesn't need external motivation. One that doesn't crumble when life gets messy. One that leads with purpose, not pressure. Let's pause for a reality check. If you walked into your own life as a stranger today, would you be impressed by your habits? Would you admire your consistency? Or would you have questions? That's a tough mirror, huh? But here's the good news. You can change the reflection starting now. Let me tell you something that'll blow your mind. Success rarely comes in explosions. It comes in compounding ripples. You don't notice it day by day. But every act of discipline is like adding one drop into a bucket. Most people quit when the bucket still looks empty. But if you keep pouring one drop, one choice, one action at a time, one day, that bucket overflows. That's how consistency works. It's quiet, it's subtle, it's invisible, until it's not. And suddenly, everything around you starts making sense. Your confidence, it skyrockets. Your peace, it deepens. Your results, they compound. And people start saying, man, you've changed. No, you didn't change overnight. You changed every day. And they just finally noticed. Now here's the beautiful irony. When you finally master consistency, you stop chasing outcomes. You stop obsessing over when the results will show up. Because you realize the reward is the process itself. You start to love the climb more than the view. You fall in love with effort, not applause. And that's when life opens up. Because consistency gives you peace. It gives you confidence. It gives you control. You no longer rely on luck because you know you're building your own. And you stop comparing yourself to others because you understand your only competition is who you were yesterday. When you reach that level, everything falls into place. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. That's the quiet, unshakable power of a consistent mind. So let me ask you one last question. What if you stop starting over? What if, instead of chasing motivation, you just committed fully unapologetically to becoming the most consistent version of yourself? Can you imagine who you'd be a year from now? What your health would look like, your mindset, your relationships, your life? Now, imagine you don't start. Where will you be? That silence. You just felt. That's the cost of inconsistency, and it's too expensive to keep paying. So here's the truth. My friend, you don't need more motivation. You need more consistency. You don't need to feel ready. You need to show up anyway. And when you do, everything starts to align. Your purpose, your power, your peace. Because consistency creates clarity, and clarity attracts success. You've got everything it takes inside you. The discipline, the courage, the fire. You just need to make yourself do it. Again, and again, and again. Until one day, you don't have to make yourself anymore, because it's just who you are now. And that's when everything falls into place. Now, if this message hit your soul, and you're ready to build momentum, not just motivation, then the next step is simple. Watch my next video. Big dreams start with small steps. Because the secret to a consistent life isn't in doing everything at once. It's in starting small and never stopping. Go watch it right now. And remember, force yourself to be consistent and everything will fall into place.